will come very soon. So what we are applicable is 914. Now, the underlying long-term objective of FTP is to promote exports and increase India's competitiveness globally, leading to employment generation, particularly in the labor-intensive sectors. So basically, FTP is made by who made the FTP? DOC, Department of Commerce, and it takes inputs from EPCs and discusses with IFT, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, and other organizations, IAP, Indian Institute of Packaging. The certain issues are there, and then it come out with a policy document, and it also discusses with the industry bodies, Chamber of Commerce, FICCI, all these people. What they say, they come out with their problems, this and that, right? And what is the ultimate objective? Promoting exports, helping labor-intensive sectors, helping agriculture, and helping certain areas which are facing some typical problem, like for example, gems and jewelry. Gems and jewelry export. What happens in gems and jewelry? The raw material which is imported is rough diamond, right? In the case of diamonds, or in the case of
precious stones.
Now, what happens? Main component added is labor, small, cutting, polishing. It's a highly labor-intensive industry. So what happens? This particular industry generates a lot of employment. So policy will say that pick up those areas which has got very huge employment generation and give them more incentives, right? And leave out such areas where labor intensive is less. So don't give extra benefits, and there are many others, like for example, giving, there is something called export clusters. In India has got so many export clusters, like Panipat for handloom items, or Madurai for handloom items and towels, Kolhapur for towels, Tirupur for hosiery items, Ludhiana for hosiery items, right? So there are clusters are there. Now these clusters are small companies, small companies. They cannot do marketing in a big way. So make some policies for them so that they can collectively do a lot of marketing, they can be trained, and they can be given a status of town of excellence with special benefits, So what policy does? It does two things. Two types of measures. What policy does? Supply side measure and demand side measure. There are two things. What is the meaning of supply side measure and what is the meaning of demand side? What is demand side? Demand side is how to make sure that the Indian companies are able to export. What is the need of the buyers? So, for example, Indian Trade Promotion Organization, ITPO. What ITPO does? It has got a list of all the foreign trade fair which happens all over the world, and it buys space in advance for 10 years at a very cheap rate, pavilions, and give 50% subsidy to the Export Promotion Council members, 50% subsidy to participate. This is demand side, isn't it? Or I told you about that bonded warehouse under MDA, Market Development Assistance, right? All these are demand side measures, demand side. And giving facility for manufacturing, building special roads, giving status of town of excellence, creating SEZ, special economic zones, right? Or giving special status for exporting more. These are all supply side initiative. So two types of them. One is the demand side. Now, when you say you give a status, this company start trading house, you give a special benefits. Again it is a demand side because you are helping them to generate more business. You are providing, facility to open offices freely. And so many, there are so many advantages which are given for good performers, right? Again, it is a demand side. So policy, what policy does? Policy is a very, very simple thing. Actually, it is a very simple thing. Either demand side initiative or supply side. Clear? Okay. So whatever policy does, it will be either demand side or it will be supply side. Simple. And what it happens slowly over the years. Something is reduced, something is added, something is, but basic thing will remain same. SCZs, town of excellence, market linked product focus scheme, you know, they will come out with some new idea, some new innovative idea in some next policy, something new will come. Like now Modi is there, so he will come out with many new items, something new schemes will come, you know, like that. And there will be some scheme for agriculture produce, you know. So we'll discuss like, for example, in another PPT I'll discuss with you that in 2012-13 some new things have come. What are those things? So you will understand. But you will realize these are based on the feedback from different types of exporters through different channels. And what are the channels? It can be either, most of the cases it is the EPCs, export promotion councils, mostly, and under discussion with organizations like IFT, because IFT is a research organization. It does the research also, right? So they know it is not purely based on the feedback. It is also based on the academic inputs and IAP and similar. So DOC makes the policy, and that policy is implemented by DGFT, Director General of Foreign Trade. DGFT has no other purpose. Their job is just to implement. Actually, they cannot take any decision. Actually, all decision is taken by DOC. They just implement, right? That's why it takes time. So, objective common to both the old and new policies is to double India's exports within 5 years. You know, always they say, and they have succeeded also, because 2009 India's exports were less than 1%. Now it is 1.7. So they have been successful. In 2009-14, they have been able to succeed in increasing the share of India's exports in the world trade to double. But personally, I feel that in next 5 to 10 years, our share will increase exponentially. It will increase drastically. Now you can also say there can be some short-term objectives, long-term objectives to stop reverse declining trend of exports. Long-term objectives can be infrastructure improvement. Again, infrastructure improvement is again what? Demand side or supply side? Infrastructure improvement.
It's a demand side?
No, supply side. Demand side is the overseas side. You know, what the facility provide. Like for example, there is one scheme in foreign trade policy, Brand India initiative. Brand India initiative. What is the meaning of that? That Indian government continuously do some cultural programs or some exhibitions in one country, then next country, then next country, to promote India as a brand. Now, is it a supply side initiative or a demand side? Brand India initiative.
Supply side.
Brand India's
Activity happened abroad.
See, any marketing, when you do marketing, you have two things. One is the front end, one is the back end. That is marketing. What is front end? Dealing with the customers. Right? And what is back end? Manufacturing, supply. Right? Similarly, there are two things, demand side and supply side. What is demand side? The objective of both demand side and supply side is to increase business, right? Increase business means increase exports. What is demand side? Do something which the buyer demands. That is demand side. What does the buyer demand? What does the buyer demand? The buyer demand, I should know, oh, India, yes, very good, very good. You know, like, how to reach to the buyer? How exporter reach to the buyer? That is demand side. Isn't it? And how to improve the infrastructure? Dedicated corridor, town of excellence, giving facilities, electricity. You know, this is what? This is supply side. Giving SCZ, export promotion, EPCG scheme, export promotion capital goods scheme. So what happens in EPCG, for example? Export promotion capital goods. What happens? You can import capital goods, for example, 1 crore rupees, with the condition, without paying any duty, with the condition that in next 5 years, with the help of this capital equipment, you will export 3 times, 3 crore rupees worth of. You take a affidavit, yes I will do. Right? You will get the 1 crore rupees capital goods duty free, right? Then you will try your best that in next 5 years you export 3 crore. If you fail, you apply to the government, okay, I could not do it, please extend. They will extend it, right? This is what is done. And what is happening? If the duty concession is not there, your supply side will not increase. You will not be able to manufacture something which you can export. So again, it is a supply side initiative, right? So what government does in foreign trade policy is nothing but an innovative document. It's an innovation with a specific purpose. And what is the specific purpose? It can be 2 types. One can be the short-term objective, and second can be the long-term objective, right? And it can be demand side, it can be supply side. So there are 2 things. Either initiatives are demand side or supply side, or objectives, the purpose is short-term or long-term. Simple. This whole policy is based on this parameter. Short-term, long-term, demand side, supply side. You will see all the schemes will fit into this framework, right? And
what new changes are expected in new policy?
I'll try to discuss. First, I will discuss the recent changes, which in the next PPT I will tell you. Some recent changes have happened that I will discuss. Then we will discuss what are the possible. But I tell you, Modi will come out with so many new things, which probably we have not seen till now. That is what people say. People are expecting that this foreign trade policy will be eye-opener. I mean, it will be something, otherwise what is happening? If you pick up a 10-year back policy and you pick now, you will not see much difference. Hardly any difference. Here and there something, like.
There is a topic.
No, transaction cost reduction. What is transaction cost? Cost of carrying goods from, for example, Delhi to Bombay, loading, custom charges, port charges. There's so many charges. I have another PPT, I don't have time, I can show you. I have a comparative cost from Singapore, China. I got a complete list of exact cost. We are one of the highest cost in India, transaction cost. One of the highest. Because of the poor infrastructure at the ports, congestion, lot of waiting time, berthing time. Berthing time is the highest in India, highest. Because for 2-3 days the ship is standing there just to get a berth. Not because we are getting so many ships, no. Because we don't have the facilities. So charges, the cost will go up. So one of the objective of policy is to reduce this cost. Again, it is a supply side initiative, right? Like for example, Mundra port you go, no problem. It's quite, or you go to smaller ports. But the problem with smaller ports is that you cannot get a big ship. That is the problem. In smaller ports, there is no congestion and transaction cost is also low. But I have a comparative chart with me where you will find that India is one of the highest, much higher than even Singapore or Dubai or even Shanghai. It's quite costly, right? Like that. Now, FTP also has special initiative. Market diversification. Market diversification is demand side or supply side? Market diversification initiative. Supply side or demand side? Initiative. Demand side. What Indian policy says that why are you dependent on USA only? I will help you. You supply your software to European countries. You supply your software to Singapore, Malaysia. Why depend on USA only? Diversify. I will help you. I will help you to sell your machinery in African countries, which is upcoming. Diversify. Again, it is a demand side, right? But the demand side or supply side? Technological upgradation. Demand side or supply side? Supply side. You help people to improve technology. Like for example, dry cleaning facility for ready-made garments, machinery, latest technology. Very fast dry cleaning is happening. in bulk quantity, right? Dry cleaning machine, Orient Craft, they've got huge plant, dry cleaning plant. You know, for finishing the ready-made garments, right? Latest technology. Or for example, in case of casein, and these are very highly technical items, latest technology, because latest technology will give good quality and you will be able to improve price, like that. Green products, something which is environment friendly, focus, right? Again it is a supply side initiative. You are helping such items which gives good name to India. It is a demand side also, because it is giving a good name for India. You know, so green products is supply side as well as demand side. Export products from Northeast. Now this is something else. This is more political. This is political. This is political. Political means you are giving facility to Northeast. Why? Because of competition with China. For political reason. It is okay. Now you want to give benefit to Northeast states. It's fine. So, you know, that is a very basic thing. We actually conduct a full 1 day or 2 day for foreign trade policy. 1 day. Will come in foreign trade policy. Incentive on incremental export. Now, just read this. Does it make any sense? Incentive on incremental export. Incentives to be granted on incremental exports made during the period January-March 13 over the base period January-March 12. If somebody has done more export from this to this,
3 months only.
3 months only. If you have exported 20% more, the incentive to be granted to IAC holder at the rate of 2% of the incremental. Suppose you exported 20% more. So on that 20% you will get 2% more. Is it a far-reaching initiative? Does it make any?
Short term.
It's a very short term. First of all, it is short term.
Not much more.
Right? It isn't.
It is applicable to EOU and DTA both.
No. It is export made to only these countries. USA, Europe, and Asian countries.
By EOU.
No. Anybody. 1% here, 5% here, 0.5% here. Every time new policy has come. What is the 0.5% here? It makes no business sense. It doesn't make EPCG scheme. Zero duty EPCG scheme extended. It is being extended for last 7-8 years. Sorry, 10 years. Extended. Nothing new is coming. Some new idea is not coming. Which I did in my MBA. They will not be very much different from what I am teaching now. This is what I am saying. This is something which I want to. So, EPCG scheme. Now they are saying it is a new initiative. What is a new initiative? Extended. Right. Then support for export of green technology product. Okay, that is something new. It has happened in last 5 years. Green products. To promote exports of 16 identified green technology products, export obligation for manufacturing of these products under the EPCG schemes reduced to 75%. So suppose you were supposed to export 3 crore rupees worth of 3 crores for 1 crore capital goods. Now you have to export only 2 point something, whatever, 670 crore. This is something I learned about this Star Trading House and all in 86-88 in my MBA classes. It's same, nothing new here. So chapter 1 to 23 both inclusive are getting duty credit scrip equivalent to 10% FOB value of agriculture products. Nothing new. Some concession. These Star Trading houses were getting concession 25 years back also, they are getting also. Tremendous effect. Now the same thing in different bottle. Tanning, like tanning industry. Kanpur. Textile and jute. Now jute, how much actually, what new changes can you make? Jute industry, right? And handicrafts hardly any capital goods are required. Handicrafts. They are talking about capital goods. What handicrafts? What do you need? If it is capital goods required, then it is no more handicraft.
Yeah.
Right? Then engineering, okay, plastics, basic chemicals. Up to 10% of the value of these scripts will be allowed to be utilized to import components. Focus, market scheme. Now these are new. These market linked focus. These happened in 5 to 7 years. Last 5 to 7 years. Especially in policy 9 to 14. These were new areas where you focus on markets and products. So you provided certain. This was something exciting. This was a new area. MFS, market focus scheme, and MLFS, market link focus product scheme. What is the meaning of this? A particular item or a particular item to a particular market. That was new. Like for example, engineering items to African countries, for example. Focus, MLFS. So these were little bit exciting areas. Now this is being improved, and personally I feel that in the new policy, what do you say? These will be the areas which will get the biggest boost. MLFS, MFS, these are the things which will come. And there may be something absolutely new which came from some idea from foreign country, some other foreign policy. They will come out with some new areas, some new schemes. They will come. But until they are having a far-reaching effect, it affects everybody. Until that happens, people will not be excited.
Until they simplify the procedures and everything.
No, that is happening. Simplification of procedure is slowly that is happening. That we should all agree. See, how much you can simplify otherwise. What actually need to be simplified is the attitude of the people sitting there. They should be the people friendly. That is the only thing. Otherwise, on paper we are using the same method what other countries are doing. Same thing. It is only that things are not happening. There are many roadblocks which has nothing to do with the foreign trade policy. It has nothing to do with, like for example, EBRC, electronic BRC, which has come. Now this is a easier thing. Now it makes life easy. Like EDI, that makes life easy. These are the things which makes things easier. But even that has to be world class. Like what happens in other countries, it should be like that. Like Singapore, when the imported good comes, when the vessel comes on the port, minimum 8 hours, maximum 24 hours. It is in your godown. Maximum 24 hours. Maximum.
Because of the size of the country?
No. You are right that Singapore is a small country. But then even Mumbai people don't get in 24 hours. Suppose you are an importer sitting in Mumbai. You should get in 24 hours. But minimum you get in India is 1 week. Minimum 1 week. In Mumbai also. So it has nothing to do with the foreign trade policy, nothing. It is to do with the people sitting there. They know they are doing it every day, but they are not learning. If somebody is doing for so many years, they should do very quickly, but they don't want to do it. That is the problem. So foreign trade policy cannot help in that. Because what we are doing in foreign trade policy is same what others are doing. What foreign trade policy can do many new things, some innovative things, some new idea like EBRC. EBRC is a new idea, very innovative. Maybe we have copied from somewhere, but it is good. Or MLFS is a new idea, good. FPS is a good idea. These are the things. But there should see what we are saying. Recently, what has happened? Import under advance authorization permitted at any EDI ports, irrespective of EDI port in which AA has been registered. Now earlier, you had to deal with one port. Now because of EDI, there is a common database, right? So if you get an advance authorization at one port, if your goods are coming to some other port, you can use that same. That is very interesting. That is very exciting also. That makes life easier for everybody. And there would be no requirement for TRA. Because TRA is a physical document, you have to get a thing, so you don't need, right? Then export shipment from Delhi, Mumbai through post courier or e-commerce to be entitled for export benefit under FTA, BRC. This we have discussed earlier also. Now, this is a very interesting, that is interesting. It makes life. In fact, many EDI system has to be should be world class. It should be so easy. Actually, import operation should be, you should be able to do it in your own office. If you can do it in your own office, then it makes sense. Like, that is what happens. That is what happens. This will just come.